cut off. That's the first time. We seem to always have connection issues at least once.
Yeah.
So tell me, he asked you what's the biggest challenge in your life, right?
Yeah, when he asked me that, I just hit him with the legal name fraud, and I said, because I already kind of lay out the legal name fraud, finding about it. So I basically told him, the biggest challenge is knowing this truth about the legal name fraud and living it in truth and not carrying ID around. And then he was asking me, so you don't have a driver's license? I say no. That's gotta be easy. Like, that's gotta be hard. I say yes. Is a real test of a man or a woman that is standing in truth and living it this way. It's tough.
Mm-hmm.
And so this is what I'm trying to see how I can navigate through even here at work. I know I'm using the legal name, but I try to put out as much the word out and make people aware and see how I can navigate through this working here without a using of legal name.
Mm.
And if you have time, just Google legal name fraud, and or you can visit the website. It's called losethename.com. And he said he would totally look into it. And I was thinking at my very initial thought of going into this interview to bring the beef and paperwork, the PC, CRSS, but after correlating with you and Reiki, and I just feel like from my heart just to go in and tell it as it is, only because it came to my conscience that it's almost like agendizing the interview. But if I just go there, just plant a seed, pass the word, and leave it at is, and after that conversation I have with the general manager, I think about it, and I could, when in passing or if I see him, I can follow up with paperwork if he needs to.
Right.
Yeah.
That's a good game plan. Now, when do you expect some word on this new position? Yes or a no?
I don't know. Mm-hmm. I really don't know when I will. I would think in a matter of 2 weeks or so.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Did you all talk about the ramifications at all, or it sounds like this is very introductory for this manager, and so he's at point zero, and he needs to learn about this. So I guess it's all about follow up on your part going forward.
Yeah, it's ramification. I don't know.
Well, it's because he's you're going to be going to a cash basis, and so they would have to accommodate that because you wouldn't be able to accept a check or any kind of corporate instrument. So
right. Yeah. This is very interesting because I was at the meantime right now. I have a PayPal account set up, and I've called PayPal before, and I've asked how do they is it okay if I have employers just use the email, send the direct deposit to it, and having a PayPal without a legal name that's already set up and it's good. And so planting the seed with the general manager, and that's exactly what I didn't really go into detail about when I said to him about navigating this without using of the legal name. But I think this is his first introductory. He's a military guy. He was a retired officer, West Pointer, and so I kind of hit him with the first question he asked me was, so you came back to the company, so you were out for at least a year. And I said, yes, when I came back, and I also found out about something very, very important, and it's a legal name fraud. And now we were tricked through the birth certificate and birth certificate fraud by using the legal name. And the legal name, all birth certificate is owned by the Crown. And then I hit up with the Triple Crown in Washington, D.C., and having to have the military, because I know this, I heard this, he was a military guy. So we were basically serving these three corporations intent. And we think in our military that we're really serving something greater, but we're actually harming others through these corporations' intent. And I just kind of left it like that. Yeah.
Yeah, well, that sounds like a pretty good intro, and like all new ideas, when some people get this stuff and they're really inquisitive right off the bat. Sometimes they're resistant to it, but either way, it's always important to follow up and find out if there are any further questions, and giving him more information is a good idea. You don't want to overload them necessarily unless they want to be overloaded. So also, Anna von Reitz wrote an article, 4-page article about what is in a name, and that's on the legal name fraud group, the discussions and experiences. If you have not read that, that's a good one to pass along to other people. Of course, Kate's essays are always excellent.
Yes.
So there's more and more people who are entering into this space, and they're writing about it, and it's truly a wonderful thing to see the legal name fraud becoming part of consciousness more than it's ever been, more mainstream. But yeah, this is fantastic. Had you done something with withholding taxes at some point? Did you opt out of that?
Yeah, these are all little pieces of the puzzle injecting into the system.
Yeah.
I actually, when I went back, it was just for survival. I was like, I couldn't do this consistently under on the cash thing.
Uh-huh.
So I went back to the company and I working, and of course your conscience is eating at you, like, the money is going into feeding all this military stuff. So I went and grabbed the forms to change to my claims, the tax claims. I think the 20104, something like that.
Like the W2, W4. What? Yeah.
Yeah, W-2,
Uh-huh.
and for the federal, and for the state is the Form 2101 or 2104. To change the claim, because I've already, you know, when I fill up the application using the legal name, why not go back in? I've already filled up those tax papers.
Right.
So when I went back after 2 weeks, I went back to it and get the forms. I was looking at it, trying to see what I can do to it, because the conscience was eating at me. And so
Yeah, we can't unknow what we know. We can't unsee what we've seen. So true.
yeah, it was. So on the W-2, and all that, those questions on the, I read it, whatever. I skip it because I kind of understand it doesn't serve in favor of the living and myself. So I skip all of it until Section 7. And this is we're talking about W-2 for the federal. Section 7, it says right here exempt. And it also says something right there in writing, like if you were liable paying taxes, if you weren't liable or something like that, paying taxes last year or the prior year, then you can write exempt. So to me, at the time, I wasn't liable for any taxes or anything like that, or shouldn't be at all at the first place. So I write exempt on it. And then currently the taxes for the then I move on to the next form for the state, and do the same thing. This time is it doesn't have anywhere on that form for me to write exempt on it for that form 2101 or 2104. Forget what it is, but yeah. So but it has a section where it says write a number of allowances. So I just wrote. I was and in the back it says if you have 14 or more, then you can write it down there, like 14. And I guess you will be exempt from there. And then it says clearly in the back of the form. So thing is that I don't have the form. I wish I have the paperwork right now. I can, but I wrote about this stuff. Yeah, so it's funny. So in there, I came up with the idea of instead of putting 14, put 17, because 17 to me is like a significant number. So instead of putting 14, I put 17.
Yeah.
So and who's to say?
Yeah, you're the only
if they
one.
ask me, for me, it's like if they ask me, oh, okay, now there was this fear, and the conscious fear of like, oh, now they're going to ask you to prove all 14 or prove all 17 allowances. And I say, screw them, like I'm just trying to survive here.
Right.
And this is their creation, and it's all about monetizing each allowance, monetizing value. And to me, if I feed a bird, or if I feed anyone, if I feed any animal, out of the heart, who's to say that they can measure these things? And and of course, all this comes into as I getting involved with the truth and reading the essays, and nothing really originally comes from me. All this comes from all the experiences. And so I never ask anybody for it, and I just grab the form, look at it, and this I came up with. And so for the federal, I wrote exempt. For the state form, I wrote 17, sign it, turn it in. 2 weeks later, my paycheck shows up, and it shows up the federal 0, the state 0. No taxes taking out of that. And the only thing that's taking out of my paycheck is a Medicare. I get like $8 or so each paycheck, and the social insurance, Social Security, like something like $24, something like that, 32, varies. But those are the only deduction that comes out of that. So I kind of, like, everything is a baby step. Not,
Right.
I know I could push these things, but let alone at this time, at this moment, better not to push the issue too much. At least be grateful with what it is right now for now.
Right. Right. Well, that's great. That's great. You're moving along. You're progressing. You're whittling away at this, baby steps all the way, and that's great. And you're also planting seeds with people that have never heard of this. So that's good. Do people ever question you any further about the legal name fraud?
Every day, every time. I mean, the phone number is out there. A lot of for some reason, I think because the card, the bank card I still have a bank card when I purchase something and online, and for some reason, although the phone is registered, changed up as 755. To the phone company to intensely inject that part of the legal name fraud in, because if anybody wonder, and there you go.
You're saying you have a phone line to Jane Doe 755?
I gave that name to the phone company,
and they took it
intensely for that to. Because if I give any other name, and they may not get the legal name fraud, but this name is tied directly to the legal name fraud awareness of people.
Yeah.
So I inject that. But when I purchase something online using the card, a lot of this friggin' insurance, like Allstate, all these people call me, so every day my phone keep ringing. So and I kind of like that because it passed the message. I kind of, with, like I said, again, the experiences I get from all you guys, you as well, especially on the phone. I'll be like, hey Jonathan, I had some very, very important information. So the conversation hasn't even gone past what they were trying to sell me. Yeah. So I go about like that, and also at work, and also this thing that we have just talked about, me doing the tax thing, and I feel like I have to pass that word to coworkers, and I've shown it to them. I said, look, this is what I'm doing. The paperwork. Look, I wrote right here, the exempt, and not turning it. When I got it, so I have a couple of friends at work that really seen it walk through, and I'll share with you whatever if I get my paycheck, so I got my paycheck, I hit zero, I show it to him, I show it to the others, and I say, wow, that's crazy. I say, yeah, you know what's crazy, more crazy is that this money doesn't really go to where you think it is. It's going to feed the military. And that's some kind of conspiracy, conspiracy. This is just go to loosename.com and it will tell you. And some more. But I cannot tell you to do this. Don't do this. I cannot. This is what I've explained to them. I cannot tell you to do this. This is what I'm doing. Is what I'm doing because I know I've immersed myself in it. But I don't want you to do this, and I just want you to Google legal name fraud or visit losethename.com, and you will see it right through how to go about it. But it's very, very important. Just like me, myself, I take baby steps. So it's very, very important that you know this, and you must take baby steps. That's all I can tell you. But that's it, right?
Yeah, baby steps are fine. Or you can take the big plunge all at one time. It's whatever your temperament is, and what your capabilities are, and your means to survive.
Oh yeah. I've told them. Some people they just step up right out of it. All at once they found out. But
yeah. Well, this is good news, and we need to revisit this if and when you have any more productive conversations or feedback with that manager. And I'll make sure to append that interview onto this one. And but I'm going to go ahead and put this in the file section for people to listen to, because this is probably the first of its kind that I know of, insofar as someone introducing the legal name fraud to an employer and saying, "Look, I'm looking to cut the use of that legal name out, but first you need to know what it is all about, so you can know what I'm talking about better." And so you guys are now down that road, and that process is ongoing, and it'll be very interesting to see how it goes for you and for the employer. Yeah. I mean, that's what I would do if I was working for the man, as you said earlier. I would definitely say that at some point we're going to have to cut the strings to everything legal, insofar as what I do for you guys. And it's gonna have to be between me and other living beings, and there's not going to be any legal intercessionists such as a bank or anything like that. So we're just going to have to be creative and figure out how I can help you and be compensated for it, but without a legal intercessionist such as a bank or some other kind of corporate check where I have to provide a legal signature for which I am not legally authorized to provide in the first place. and can't get legal authorization. So I'm trying to clean up that part of my existence by no longer doing things like this, defrauding, being involved in fraud, that kind of thing. It's all good. Great intent.
Yeah. So all we could do is, but it's also very important to note that what I do is to survive. I'm not knowing the legal name fraud is. It's not something that I am proud of, It's just something and it's very important for people to really when they hear this, to know that in my heart of heart is, I'm not proud of it. I know it's fraud, but it's just a pass to go by. And when that time comes, one will know when to get out of it.
Right.
And that's all I could say.
Yeah.
At least for the time being, keep, like I said, and like you say, keep sharing our experiences. Yes, I will keep sharing the experiences from what I have with the employer.
Yeah. This is all about transitioning from fiction to reality. And
yes.
And it's good. It's good to see that this is being done in the venue of an employment situation. It's good to see it, because there's plenty of us out there that we're exercising this truth in other ways. But to see it at the employment area where you have to, where it's typical to get a check, that's a different venue. And I think this is the first one I've ever encountered, the first instance of actually looking to transition out of the legal name while still being employed. So it'll be interesting, and I appreciate it. I'm going to go ahead and kill the recording right now, but we can talk afterwards. Here we go.